Alrighty, so this is a bit of a different location than my usual bedroom setting, but I'm on the road at the moment, and so I'm just having to improvise. And I saw this and I thought it was really pretty. I thought it'd be really cool. I don't know if anyone would hear me, but that's okay. But I'm just on a big long bus ride from Cairns to Townsville, and I was just, sitting there, and there's something about when you're sitting on public transport, I feel, that I just get really inspired and I feel really creative. And I think it's just this idea that I'm like seeing new things and experiencing new things outside of my usual way of thinking. And so it's like all this inspiration's flowing to me. And this kind of got me thinking about, obviously, my next piece of advice. And I think the next piece of advice I wanted to give to my childhood self would be that we should constantly be in creation. Constantly create. Create. And the reason I say that is because I truly believe that whether you are creative or not, you, as just by nature of being a human being, are designed to create, to bring something new, to transform what was already done in the past. And I think that this idea of not taking on everything, like you have to learn everything around you, obviously, just to understand your world, but then you have to go within and find what you want to learn and what knowledge you have. And then the way that we bring that knowledge out into the world, I believe, is the way that we show up creatively. And that can look many different ways. It can look in the form of art or writing, or in the way that you show up in your business, in the way that you innovate, in the way that you create the kind of person you want to be, the way that you create in just your everyday life, just little ways that you can transform and bring something new. And yeah, just creativity, I think, is just a huge part of who we are as human beings. And I think when we're not in creation, we're stagnant. And I think that was made, I was made so aware of it when I came on this trip, because I just had been sitting in a bit, like, I'm always growing as a person, but as my surroundings were concerned, I was growing pretty stagnant. And so you kind of get in this repetition of habits and behaviors and seeing the same things all the time. And sometimes creativity can look something as simple as taking a new way to work, or doing a different kind of exercise regime, or just getting things to be, mixing it up a little, getting things to be making things a little different than they currently are. And yeah, in terms of creativity, how I bring creativity into my life, I'm actually being made aware from this that it's not enough in my life, that I really need to bring it in a far greater way. And I think creativity, for me, it looks like writing. I love writing. I kind of do little bits here and there. I do like Instagram posts. I love writing Instagram posts. And I also just will like randomly get a surge of creativity, and I'll write something down, and it'll be like, I actually the other week was laying in the sun and I got so inspired. Same thing, I just changed up my scenery. I got cut from work, and so I just had all this time that I wasn't expecting. So I was like, I'm just gonna sit down and just enjoy. And I just meditated for a bit, and I just had this huge surge of creative rush, and I was so inspired. I sat right. And then when I was so lost in my writing, I got so burnt on the back of my legs because I was laying down on my phone just typing like on my belly. So I wouldn't recommend that. But yeah, so I think I just try to find creative things in my day, and that's just a regular part of my day. Like just thinking of things, and I've always got a little notepad and pen. I'm always writing things down. But I think what's shone light for me is that I would really like to become way more intentional with the way that I'm creating, and become a bit more in routine. And I think a lot of people will be like, what do you mean routine your creativity? That makes no sense. like creative is meant to be like so spur of the moment, I'm feeling creative. But I think there's something to be said of if you're sitting down and you're regularly showing up for a certain thing to be able to be creative, then you're actually creating some space for that thing to show up. And if you're not actually sitting down and creating space for that time, like that time when I sat down on the beach and I was writing, when I was sitting there and I was meditating, and that space allowed me that time and space allowed me that inspiration to get creative. Whereas if we're so busy busying ourselves in our day-to-day life and our routines and our everything else, our creativity can kind of get lost as an like thing that's not quite as important as all the rest of it. So it can be this need to like work is more important, or getting my dinner is more important, like all these things are more important. But I actually would hesitate to say that it's actually having that creative outlet is a really healthy way to express yourself, which is very important. And so having a time, like a designated time to do that, could be a really great way to do that. The next point of call would be talking about kids. Obviously kids are always creating. Like this is a thing, like when we're kids we love to create. It doesn't matter what it looks like, whether that's like moving our bodies or just creating art, or they're just creative by nature and just always in creation, and they're thinking of games and ideas and ways of doing things. And I guess as we get more into our schooling life, we kind of our thinking gets a bit more boxed, and we get taught how to think and what to do and when to do it, and I think we lose this creative spirit that we are all just empowered with. And so I think the thing that I would say is for kids, like make sure that as they're going through school, whatever system you're choosing as a parent to impart on your kid, if they're homeschooled, if they're regular schooled, if they're something else schooled, like make sure that creativity is a huge part of their life. Like I truly believe that there is something to be said of like learning things is great, and I think it's good to have that understanding. But just like I said in that other video about this, that we need to learn things from the outside, but then we also need to understand our own wisdom. And I think it's the same thing, like creativity is just an expression of that wisdom, that inner knowing, that inner wisdom, having a way to have an outlet. Yeah, so I think that's me for today. I keep glancing up because I'm really worried I'm gonna miss my bus because we just have like a 30-minute layover. So I'm gonna leave it there. But isn't this beautiful? I'm just gonna show you because we're on tour now. We're not staying stationary. But look at this, I can't see it all. But isn't it beautiful? Apparently there's crocodiles in there. That's fun. Not fun. Can't see you at all. You're nothing to me. But anyway, isn't it gorgeous? We're in this little place called Coldwell, maybe? Anyway, it's super cute. There's literally nothing here. There's a BP, place where I got my chips. They're there, by the way, going cold. Anyway, I'm gonna eat those and hopefully run and get on my bus. Anyway, I hope you have an amazing day, and I'll speak to you tomorrow.